Hello and welcome to Entitled, where we talk to the entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and game changers of the real estate industry. I'm Bernie Espinosa, along with
David Bellinger. Hey, everyone.
Yay. And you guys missed it, but David just spilled a Red Bull.
The infamous Red Bull
Yes.
did not last very long today.
We have one of my favorite people on today, in spite of the fact that he's a Dodger fan. I mean,
Why we made
I can't
represent.
bear
Yes.
to admit it, but
Yes.
I got my bedazzled
Yeah.
Giants on today.
Yeah.
I almost wore my Matt Cain signed Perfect Game jersey, but it's World Series style, so it goes down to my knees.
I love that you're subtle today.
By the way, Kevin also is wearing a Dodgers baseball bat necklace.
Yes. Made by
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts.
Oh,
There you
God.
go.
Anyway, but thank you for being subtle with your Dodgers info.
Anything for you.
So our guest today, Kevin Kauffman, he is the co-founder of Group 4610, which is, if you've been in the real estate game for any amount of time, you're probably very familiar with the brand. Are you still using flip-flops in the logo?
Technically, I think I stopped wearing flip-flops because I got old. Like, it was purely medical reasons. I always say, like, genuinely 2020 was weird for everyone. And for me, it was weird because that's when I switched to shoes.
Yeah. So Group 4610, also, I would say, one of the earliest adopters of the EXP brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it'll be fun to dig in today because
I think 8 years ago, I think like maybe today or something.
was Matt Cain's Perfect Game?
No. It's the day we moved to EXP.
Okay.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. But it'll be fun to dig into that because actually one of my questions was going to be about how long you've been with EXP because the trajectory that you've generated, you and Fred, and in terms of traction for that company and for your team has been pretty phenomenal. So super excited to dig in. You've been in the greater Phoenix market for how long?
Oh my gosh, this month,
20 years.
this month
Right?
made 19 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
07.
and I probably, maybe 16 years-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we
Maybe
met.
17.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's go origin story, fast version. So, distressed.
Long story short, I got licensed in May of 07, June of 07, whatever. Sold the house, maybe two, and my now business partner comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm going to be leaving the country. Can you help me with some things?" And I was like, "Sure." And he had just got back into real estate. He was licensed the whole time, but was running another business. And he tells me about this thing called a short sale. His best part, he's like, "I got all these listings. The house is literally worth less than what the seller owes the bank. I think I know how to get this done, but the thing is, I don't know who's going to pay us. I don't know how we can get paid." So I was like, "Well, dude, I just got a real estate license. I'm in. Like, I'll work for free."
Yeah.
Genuinely didn't know what I was doing. Sort of figured it out. Fast forward a couple weeks. I actually got one while he was out of the country on his honeymoon. I got one of the short sales approved. And then fast forward a couple months, we're sitting around at lunch and we're like, we were both doing some short sales. We were both employing his brother as like a part-time assistant. We're like, we should just share an office and like share expenses. And so February of 08, we moved into rented an office from our broker who happened to own a couple of different offices. And we asked his brother to work for us full time with the hope that we would try to pay him within the first month or two, but no promises.
Right.
And he's a musician by trade at the time. So he was like, "Sure, I might get paid in a month or two. I'm in."
It's like a gig.
Yeah. And so that was the beginning. And we just started tackling short sales right away.
Yeah.
So that's how I know you, right? Because I actually started this career in 07 as well. And so immediately thrust into that market, which I'll say now I actually kind of miss it a little bit.
It was fun.
That's when I started hearing your name and the group and all the information. But what's funny is the way you explain it. Hey, I have a deal. They owe more than what it's going to sell for. I have no idea what's going to happen, who's going to get paid, figure it out. That was our story in our business too, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know how it was going to work. Or when the first realtor brought us the deal, hey, here's a short sale, and we need help with packages and this and that and all that.
I remember creating the short sale quick start program
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
agents,
I mean,
finding the
yeah.
escalations for,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the reason why we miss it is because it was really well defined.
It really was.
I mean, the people that needed to sell, very highly defined. Where you needed to go to solve the problem was very well defined. And then the resources you needed to negotiate were really well defined.
I think the thing that I liked about it too is nobody was willing to do it.
Right.
And so I had this distinct advantage of I was kind of willing to just do something that nobody else wanted to do. And so I had no competition. Like we genuinely had no competition. I think about, it was such an advantage for me. I went from not having a license to within a year, I looked up one day and Fred and I had like 94, 95 listings.
That's crazy.
Just because we were willing, two things. We were willing to do what nobody else was willing to do. And the other thing I think that really was like gasoline on the fire for us is we were willing to teach other people how to do it too. And what ultimately what that did is people just went like, I don't want to do this. And so they would just send them to us.
That's awesome. I remember all this. Yeah. You guys were really open with the education for other agents. Interestingly enough, I have 3 agents right now that have short sales.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
I've gotten more calls this year for help on short sales from random agents that I don't
people
know.
Are trying to, and I'm like, oh, short sales. And they're like, oh, you know what those are? I'm like, yeah. Like
they've actually been around forever and they're never going away.
Yeah. So fast forward. So first of all, I know the origin story too, but like why Group 4610? How did you come up with that name?
So it's a combination of a lesson from a friend of ours and the short sale process. Right. So in the short sale process, you have a lot of, from a negotiation standpoint, there's a lot of things that you have to do right today that are going to make it easier for you in 3 or 4 months from now when it's like down to nitty gritty time. On the side of that, a friend of ours had this like lesson. He went to a class, I think, on like the 7 habits of highly effective people. One of them was begin with the end in mind. Well, this particular friend was it's funny. He's just a rotund white dude, but he was a Spanish pastor.
Okay.
And so he went and like took the 7 habits of highly effective people and put them to different scriptures, or maybe that was something that the Covey Corporation taught. At any rate, Isaiah 46:10 shortened is think with the end in mind, or begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
And that was the way we approached short sales. And true story, one day we needed signs. I only had a couple signs. Fred only had a couple signs, and we were taking listings so fast. I looked at him and I said, hey, we need more signs. I do not want my name and phone number on the signs. Should we put yours on there? And he said, not a chance. So I said, we should think of a team name then.
Yeah.
And so that night I went home, came up with 5 ideas. One of them was Group 4610.
Yeah, I love it.
And I sent it to him and he was like, that's the one.
Yeah, I feel like you guys were some of the first teams that didn't go by names, that you actually created a brand.
Yeah.
And I think it's so common now. But
A brand within a brokerage.
Yeah, but I think that is very much the norm now. But when you guys did it, it was like, because I remember trying to chase you down for business. I'm like, who are these guys? Like, and I actually found out your names because of your YouTube videos.
The infamous 4610.
Who are these people?
Who are these
Yeah.
people?
So I remember you guys were some of the first ones, you and Fred, to do your YouTube short sale.
It's funny. I was just talking about that. So that's because of Gary Vee.
That's right. I was going to say, it reminded me of Gary Vee.
Gary Vee had a big release. He does like trading cards now for this thing he has called V Friends. And we literally, his first book came out, Crush It.
Yep.
Fred and I read it on a Friday and went to the store, bought a camera. It was a Kodak ZI-8. It was like the first little portable camera. And we started recording video blogs that day. And never, like, I don't know, we did thousands and thousands. And I remember the first time, those were always designed for agents. I remember the first time I was on the phone with a prospective client and they're like, I saw your video. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, shoot. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, maybe that's good.
Yeah.
And then we actually started doing videos for it. But like that was all back to Gary Vee's Crush It book. And
Crush It. He was a wine guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of his very first videos, actually, I shouldn't say one of his, but one of the first videos I caught before he went so global was him in an airplane with a hoodie on, doing a video with the the tray table down and talking about how one day he wants to buy the jets.
Oh yeah, he still talks about he's going to buy the jets.
Yeah. I mean, this was like, I was like, who is this dude? And so that's a cool story. But I bet you, well, I wonder, do a lot of people even ask you, where's the name come from? Is it part of your onboarding?
No, I don't know. I think it is somewhere in our onboarding training. But yeah, I get asked quite a bit.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So you guys started Group 4610. You started as a local team. You started in the short sale distressed arena. And then I'll never forget one time I was at a broker meeting that you guys were talking at, and the market had changed. And you and Fred were talking very definitively about it's time to switch things up. This is the market was changing, and you had to transition into resale business.
Yeah.
And you hadn't really done that before.
Yeah, I would say, even though I'd probably sold like, I don't know, 1,000 houses at the time, 2013 was the year I learned to become a realtor, even though I'd been licensed since 07.
Yeah.
Because then I actually had to go to someone's house to get the listing, which blew me away.
And they had equity.
Yeah. And they had equity. And also I was like, what do you mean my knowledge isn't enough for you to want to hire me? You know what I mean? Like it was I went on a real journey that year, learning wise and skill wise, to kind of become this, what I just called like a regular real estate agent, because I didn't know. I got away with taking listings because I knew more than everybody else about this subject, and I had the best results in the industry. And so that was enough to take listings, and I literally did not leave my office. I would give them like the pleasure of meeting me if they wanted to come to the office.
If they wanted to come.
But I'll bet you 95% of my listings that I took from 07 to 2000, end of 2012, were all like, they just faxed me everything.
Yeah, faxed. I'll never forget that presentation or that office meeting. You threw down a quote. I don't know if you remember it, but it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to use this out in the field because Kevin Kauffman said this. And you said, I've been very successful in spite of disrespect to my database.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty powerful, because at that point, you know, today we talk about it all the time in the field about when we're working with agents, like, do you have a database? And it doesn't mean you have to have a CRM, but do you have a list of people that you stay in touch with? And so many agents in that time frame were not thinking about the people they were serving in terms of serving them again in the future.
Yeah.
They were just like done. And then we ended up having all these boomerang buyers, right? But that was do you remember that when you had said
100%,
that?
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that seems to coincide with you talking about this being a turning point where you kind of started digging into your skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really had to work hard on my skills like that year. Like, I mean, not just that year, but I put in particular effort.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever enter the REO market?
No. And here's the funny part is that was, it was on purpose that we didn't, because we kind of toyed around with it. We had some opportunities, but really didn't
Approached you.
didn't pursue it, because at the end of the day, funny story, Fred and I both worked for financial institutions, and we were like, if I wanted to be a bank employee, I would just go back to that. Like, I didn't want to play that game. I didn't want to lend my money to the asset managers and to the lenders, and I didn't want to work for them. I wanted to work for a human being.
Yeah.
As my client, because I knew in the future they would come back.
Right.
And so that was we made that decision verbally very early on in our business.
That was smart, because most of the REO agents that I knew were the bank for the bank.
Yeah.
Well,
and honestly, most of them were jerks, because they were overwhelmed and didn't know how to handle their volume. And working with them was a nightmare. An absolute nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people who still have bad reputations from that era.
100%. I can think of this one guy. I'm not going to say his name today, but I still, if I see first of all, he hardly sells any real estate these days. Still licensed, but he was a total jerk to me, and I'll never forget. And the guy, he probably hasn't done 100 deals since.
Right.
And I'm not making fun of his lack of production, but he's a great example of what so many people in that market were. They treated their peers like crap, and they never learned the business, and then it got taken away, and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And because they didn't form any relationships with anybody,
the opposite.
Nobody was willing to go, hey, dude, let me help you out.
Right.
Like, so much of what I learned is because of Curtis Johnson and Russell and Wendy Shaw and Tim Cusick and all these other people and Steve Chater, who took me under their wing and said, let me help you. I can see that you know the short sale thing. That's great. Jeff Lucas, it's great that you know how to do that, but like, let me show you how to run a business.
Yeah.
And they did. And nobody did that for those guys because they were jerks to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting time for sure. And I think it's so true. And some of them didn't want to be jerked. It was just they were so overwhelmed.
Well, I think some of them are actually okay with, hey, I'm here for the REO.
That's
It's
right.
done.
Yeah,
I'll
when
go
it's done,
find
I'm
something
done.
else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because let's be real. I mean, learning the business and being able to relate with clients, it's not for everyone.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, when you talk REO and short sale, there's so much process part of it.
It's all process.
And paperwork and stuff like that. I mean, there's people that are better at handling transactions. There's people that are better at getting the transaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's you know, if they can admit it, that's fine. It's the ones that like, what are you talking about? Everything was fine then. I'm sorry you had a bad experience. I'm like, dude, it was a bad freaking experience. I mean, I was trying to buy a home during that time.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the realtors that listed properties that I didn't get because, they wouldn't even discuss, will come up. There was no chance to offer, things like that as a consumer. Maybe some realtors out there think the consumer forgets.
They don't.
We don't forget.
They don't. Yeah. What did how did you start to transition into team growth mode? Is it because you didn't want to go and talk to people? Is that why you started adding agents? Just kidding. No, it's just
No, it truly came down to like coaching. Like we hired a business coach. It's funny. January of 2011, he's still my coach today. Same business coach. And he coached us up. And the other thing too is at the time I was with Keller Williams Realty, as you know, and Gary was my mentor.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to be able to get in a small room with Gary 3 to 10 times a year for the entire time I was at Keller Williams. And through that, I learned a lot. So he had a big influence on my business life. And
that's an incredible business. Probably affects your personal everything.
100%.
Yeah.
And
great mentor.
I was just that was just the way you did it. In my mind, was like, what I realized pretty early on, and so did Fred, is I liked owning a real estate business. I didn't necessarily love being a realtor. I liked being a realtor. I liked helping people get to where they're going.
Yeah.
But what I liked so much more was running a real estate business. Like, what levers do I pull when it comes to expenses, lead gen, training, recruiting? When I realized like there was so much more out there to running a real estate business than there was sort of just going from deal to deal, that's where I realized I want to spend my time.
I feel like I learned that from you guys too, because back in the day I was sales exec, in Fidelity in those days, just trying to get people's business. And I feel really fortunate because I got to work with you guys, Brian Gubernick, Brett Tanner, like all these business-minded real estate operators. Yeah. And I remember one of the times that we met, you were really like, and I can't remember exact verbiage, but it was like, I don't need to know about the trinkets, remember? And you were like, here's how we run the business, and like, here's what the agents go through. And it was just really cool because there were systems, there was processes, there were carrots that people had to accomplish in order to get to the next level of access. You designed out a really great business structure. So that makes sense. I love that. When did you start to feel like you started to you grew the team to locally, you had a lot of people on the team and you had multiple offices. Yeah. So obviously things were going well.
In 2014, we started selling real estate in Denver as well.
Right.
We actually still sell real estate in Denver to this day. We made a mistake in the fact that we hired the most amazing partner there, and we sold 105 homes our first year selling real estate in Denver.
That's legit.
Well, the problem was that made us think we were smart. And so we just thought what we had was an anomaly of a partner. Yeah. And we ended up expanding quite a bit. And that was the thing that Gary and the KW sort of culture was really teaching, was this expansion model. And so we were out there trying that, and we were doing it. And in some cases we were winning, in other cases we were losing. Net, it was, it was a big win. It was a lot of lessons. But at one point we looked up in probably 2017, there's like 100 names on our roster across, I don't know.
That's a lot.
7, 8 cities.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, 7. I couldn't remember. I'm like, I remember you had Denver, and then I couldn't remember what other cities you hit after
Denver,
that.
Nashville, San
you
Luis
do-
Obispo,
yeah.
California, Southern California, a couple cities there, and Vegas.
And then what, today, I mean, you still have some of those expansion models still going.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
we still run it. So there's really 2 agents in Denver. Anna's the main agent. She's been with us for, oh my gosh, I think since 2015. And her mom is effectively her showing assistant, kind of their
Yeah.
quasi partners. And then everyone else is here
Okay.
in the Phoenix area. So that was over a process of, before we moved to EXP, we thought we were going to go independent.
Oh, like create your own brokerage?
Yeah, we were going to create an independent brokerage, and we ultimately didn't. However, in that process, we started really evaluating the locations that we had and which ones were not profitable and which ones that were profitable, but for us, they weren't worth the headache. And we started shutting those down and sort of closing up shop there in preparation for going independent. Ultimately, we came to our senses and changed our mind and just moved our business to EXP instead. But that was, so we trimmed back quite a bit on purpose. And then over the years, we just made it a point to stay more local with our sales business.
I think that's, and to me, what I was going to ask you too is like, what is your recommendation today for expansion? Like when people talk about wanting to have operations in other states, counties,
you know, anytime anybody asks me for advice, period, of like, hey, whether it's expansion or fill in the blank, right, for my business, I always just say why.
Yeah.
Like, tell me why you want to do that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing I believe, even though I had to learn the lesson for myself, and there's this podcaster I listen to, like he calls them unteachable lessons. Unteachable lesson is just simply something that it doesn't matter if I tell you this is what's going to happen. There's some things where we just have to make the mistake ourselves before, as human beings, we're going to get it.
Sounds like my kids.
And like
Anybody's kids.
everybody, right?
Everybody, yeah.
And one of those unteachable lessons, I think, is going wide is not the same as going deep.
Oh my gosh.
And
Fred Delgado says that too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
If you would just go deeper
Yep.
with what you do have,
He just said that on our call.
you would realize that there's so much more. So again, I'd go back to like, why? Is it just because you want to go from, say, 200 units to 500 units or whatever? Okay, I wouldn't call that a good reason for expansion. Now it's like, but if your reason was, hey, I've got this amazing agent that's been with me for 5 years and they moved, that could be a good reason. Or all of a sudden I've got this lead source that is, going to be all mine, and all I've got to do is execute on it and I can support it. Okay, maybe let's talk. But if it's just so I can say I'm expanding and I'm up for a challenge, I'm like, I don't know. I think there's probably other challenges that would serve you better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good conversation and a great place to start. For most things is what's your why. But one of the things I've admired about you and Fred is you guys always had clarity and decisiveness. Mm-hmm. And it's a gift, or maybe there's a lot of time in solitude thinking, but I feel like you guys have always come quick to collaborate on the clarity and then move.
That's true. This isn't the question you asked, but a lot of times I get asked about how is it that your partnership has stayed so solid, because we've worked together now since February of 2008, right? And one of the things is neither one of us is tied to anything other than getting what we want. And so the very few times that we disagree on how to approach something, like we've literally never had an argument, never fought over money, nothing. And I think the reason why, one of the main reasons why, is because if we have a disagreement on the way we should handle whatever, right? Usually one of us feels stronger about it. So we'll just do that, because we know that if it doesn't work, we're just going to do something different.
You're going to pivot.
Like we're not afraid to be wrong and cut our losses and go, oh, that didn't work. Let's do it this way.
Yeah.
And so I think that gives us both a lot of security in knowing that whatever, it's either going to work out this way or we're going to do it a different way.
Yeah. You're working towards the win as opposed to preventing a loss.
Yeah. And it's not about like, oh, that was my idea or
Right.
Fred's idea. It's like, no, this was the thing that got us what we wanted.
Well, and you're recognizing who feels stronger about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel stronger about it. maybe I'm missing something on it. I
go
support
for it.
you, so
Let's
go
do
for
it. Yeah.
I mean,
we're a team. We're very
Bernie and I
similar.
do that quite often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, to me, it's the only way to go.
Yeah.
I see so many quote unquote partnerships on real estate teams that fall apart because they don't let stuff go, and they've got to be right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Ego. I mean,
it's-
ego is a
it's
tough
what it
one to
is.
manage sometimes
Yeah.
in those scenarios, right? Because if there's any fear involved, which most people in business have some inkling of a fear factor, and it's usually related to the loss of money or failure,
Mm-hmm.
then you start to, your decision making gets a little clouded.
for sure.
Yeah. If you're making decisions to not lose, it's a different outcome than when you're making decisions to win.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So walk us through a little bit like your transition, because I will say, and I know you remember this too, but like when you guys transitioned to EXP, that was like a massive,
It was a thing.
that was massive. It was just, I mean, if the real estate industry had a CNN or a Fox News, it would have been like, we're interrupting this program.
Well, and not to say they weren't on the map. Obviously, they were, right? But
I feel
I feel like that started the movement.
I feel like you guys launched a different level of
We did. I think
expansion for EXP.
I joke around, and I always I called EXP the land of misfit realtors at the time because it had a certain reputation, and I think we were truly the first big KW group that wasn't. I don't just mean like from a production standpoint. We were very highly ranked. However, more in that we were on the inside. Like we had ran a region for Keller Williams. We were, as I mentioned,
owned a market center.
owned a market center. Gary was our mentor for
Was
a
on
long
your
period of
speed
time.
dial.
Yeah, and so I think we were one of the first ones that were like on the inner circle to get up and leave and go over there. That's not me trying to take credit. I know that was that's what caused a little bit of the, oh my gosh, what's going on over there.
Right. Yeah. And then, so now you've been with them since
June of 18.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. The time flies. 6
Yeah.
years. Six-ish. 8 years. I can't. 6 plus 2 is 8, right?
Yeah,
She doesn't even know what it
Like what? Huh?
you're a Giants fan. It's okay.
I'm just distracted by the LA
I get it.
stuff going on over here. But so share a little bit about what the experience has been like. And I want to talk to, if you're comfortable, open to it, but like you have had massive success in that growth platform. Like you took what EXP offers an agent and you have literally built a great business for yourself on the residual side of things. And I think that that's a great story to share too, if you're open to that.
Absolutely. First of all, I say this like wholeheartedly. Moving our business to EXP was the single best business decision we've ever made. No, there's no
That's so cool to
close
say.
second.
Yeah.
Not even a close second. And what's really cool, it's funny, I said this to Glenn, the founder of the company, probably 3 or 4 years ago, is it's really cool to be, that was 3 years ago. It's really cool to be at the time 5 years into this and actually feel stronger about my decision than when it was just new and exciting.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Because everything is like, glossy and glittery.
Yeah.
On
like
day one.
Something's new, right?
Yeah.
Every restaurant's food tastes good on the grand opening.
Yeah. Every
Yep.
first date's amazing.
Yeah,
No,
the
just
first
kidding.
date,
Yeah.
like the first date, the new car, all
Yeah.
that stuff is great when it's new. But when you get 8 years in and you feel even stronger about your decision than you did the day you made it,
Yeah.
that feels good.
Yeah.
So first of all, there's that piece to it, and it's been life changing. What we saw in it at the time was an opportunity to take what we had and already were and share that with even more people. So at the time, as you know, like Fred and I were already teaching people classes, both locally and around the country. We'd built a lot of great relationships. The other thing that I learned through expansion is there was a lot of agents I knew or could get in a relationship that I knew that I could help, but they weren't going to join my team. They were never going to join my team. And so we started thinking about it as like, yeah, but if they joined our brokerage, I mean, you saw what Brian and Brett and EK and I did with that Keller Williams office. Like when Brian and I took it over,
Oh, yeah.
there was 50 names on the roster and literally not all of them were alive.
Yeah.
And when I sold my shares of that company 3 years later, there was over 350 agents in that office, and we had like $600 million teams in there.
That office was the
It was the
KW
office.
office.
There was-
it was just
there
that
was no
It was
competitor.
a massive attractor.
And so what I knew from, I think, running that or having bought that and rebuilt it was we had so much to give the agent community, more than what we already were. And so we just saw that as like, okay, we could do this, because there is so much that we can give other people that are never joining our team. But if they joined our brokerage, there's money involved for us. And what the EXP model does is it just puts everybody's incentives in alignment. Like, so if you and I work together, I'm incentivized for you to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. So
Not because you're part of my brand, or you
yeah,
know, it's just, you could be a
it's still
solopreneur, you
your
could be-
brand.
yeah.
But if I help you grow,
You know, and it's super, super simple what you just described. It's just probably not practical and tactical sometimes, because otherwise, isn't that why people join brokerages, to get education and resources and training?
yeah,
Well,
theoretically,
Brokerage says they're the
Every
best at it.
brokerage
they all
says
say
they're
they
gonna-
have the best.
yeah.
But here's the deal: if you go to a brokerage, and this is nothing
Ideally,
bad, it's
you're
just the
supposed to have
model.
that, right?
Yeah, but who's incentivized by it?
That's
You've got the manager / recruiter, maybe the broker or the owner, maybe 2 or 3 other people care about you winning, but none of those people sell real estate.
Yeah.
And whereas like within our system, when you come to EXP and you choose a sponsor, there's now, I'll put it to you this way. I recruited a friend of mine in Ohio. He runs a great business, a team. They do a couple hundred deals a year. He said to me, hey, that's cute that you think you recruited me. He's like, I recruited you, Fred, and Curtis to be my board of advisors or my board of directors.
He
He's like,
Shark Tanked you.
yeah. He's like, that's so cool that you think you recruited me. I recruited you.
That's
And I
awesome.
was
way to
like,
look at it.
that's a great way to look at
That's
it.
awesome.
Exactly. Because now he's got 7 other people that are fully invested in his business.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it kind of fills a bucket for you. You know, early on, you enjoyed educating and teaching, and you would be, you know, at the podium, you know, teaching the agents. And now it's kind of like this organic progression for you. That's really what you do now in your EXP role, without necessarily owning a brokerage. You're still helping so many agents, and you're so
Well, you're also doing it through all your podcasting
Yeah.
and videos, and I mean the simplicity to reach people.
Yes,
whether
it's
at
changed.
EXP or anywhere now, it's so easy, right?
So much easier,
Just to find what you're doing, what works. Anybody in the country is going to want to seek you out
Yeah.
to find it, whether it's live or watching you.
So do you find that people seek you out? Like, I feel like now over the years, my observation, perception is that you're really working more with the agent community, not necessarily out there working listings and working with buyers. I mean,
That's true.
yeah,
Listen, I made a decision in 2014, at the end of 2014, that I did not want my income to be dependent upon me sitting in a living
Yeah.
room taking a listing.
Yeah.
Even though I got really good at taking listings, and I could go out tomorrow and be a great listing agent again if
Yeah.
I wanted, I did not want my income to depend on that, because quite frankly, I wanted to work Monday through Friday.
right.
My first daughter was born at the end of 2012. I was like, I want to go home at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go home at 5 o'clock, and
love
I'm not
that.
doing anything on Saturday and Sunday. And so I had to build a business that operated that way. And so first it was just my team. And then as we transitioned to EXP, we realized that could be so much bigger and,
Right.
and so much more impactful.
Yeah, I love that. It's really cool to see the life you've created. Yeah, and now you got, you know, how old is your youngest now? She's,
So my oldest is 13. My youngest is 11.
I was going to say they're in double digits now.
You're telling me.
2 teenage girls.
About to be. Yeah.
On the verge.
Hold on.
Yeah. I'm pretty lucky so far.
Okay, good.
So 2014, you made that great choice. Like, again, you guys, you're so clarity and decision making. That was also the year the Giants beat the Kansas City Royals in the World Series. Just FYI.
I remember watching that. I was rooting so hard for the Royals. I was like, I can't believe I'm rooting for the Royals.
And
right
also
now.
2012 is when we beat the Astros. But,
know,
you know,
every
who's,
other
who's,
year.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah. Every
Go Bernie on the memories. Yeah.
oh, it's so funny. I'm like, oh, 2012, that's believing. Even years. Although we need to rebuild these days, but
All my Giants fans that are friends that are like, they used to always say, oh, yeah, we only win every other year.
yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
I know.
You're smart.
Yeah, now the Dodger fans are saying, well, hold my beer. We just win
Oh,
consecutive
geez.
years.
I know. They just win every year. And Jerks. But
Wow.
I suffered the Frank McCourt era. I don't, I do everything that we get.
awesome. Well, what are you looking forward to? I mean, like, where are you at in business mindset? A few things actually. Where are you? Like, what do you see happening next for you personally in the business space? I know that you've got your weekends, you've got your family. I know you love baseball cards.
I do love baseball cards. That's a whole other podcast. The reality is just putting more and more time into our EXP revenue share
Yeah.
group. We still run a team based in Tempe. The reality is we're fortunate enough to where that business has been in place for so long. We have amazing people that work with us. We have a certain amount of business that comes to us every year.
Right.
I don't want to call it on autopilot. Nothing's ever truly on autopilot.
You gotta work it.
But it doesn't take a lot of working hours for
That's
us
amazing.
to run. And
As it should be.
yeah, like why else would you do something for almost 20 years?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we really still enjoy the EXP. I'll call it community building. Like
love that.
that's the way I think of it. I think a lot of people think of recruiting as like they've got this weird meaning to it. But for me, at least from like a strategic standpoint to make money, it's really just building a community. And so we love our community of people. I was just talking to a couple people at corporate about something the other day that is this really amazing thing that they're rolling out for us at EXP. And they were showing us, they said to me, I think you, talking to me, have the highest producing group in the entire company.
I believe it.
From a standpoint of
Like attracts like.
production per person, which I'm not a big per person productivity person. However, I think it speaks to the people that we've been able to bring into our world and that they've then gone out and done the same. So we have, the average agent of our 2,700 agents in our community sells 10 houses
You
a
have
year.
2,700 agents.
2,700 agents, and the average,
That's amazing.
and this includes
Wow.
licensed assistants, team members that started yesterday is 10. And if you know anything about having a brokerage that size, that's like 3 or 4 times the average.
That's incredible. And I think too, the other thing that you talked about is you pour into your people with the skill side of things and then helping them with determine their why, which in and of itself creates the results,
Yeah.
right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a results driven person, but I think we reverse engineer it into what do you want and why, and then helping them build out the goals for them to get what they want, right?
The way to get there.
Yeah, how they get there, right? That's incredible. 2,700. I was going to ask you how many people are in your.
27, 22.
Wow. Is that like a ticker symbol in your office?
No, yes and no. I literally take a screenshot of it every morning. It's the first thing I do on my phone.
That's cool.
Is I log into our app.
Yeah.
I take a screenshot of it. It goes into a folder so I
love
can
that.
like compare it. But we have a ton of other reporting too. Like we literally in my office have a big whiteboard with everybody in our group who has 25 people or more. There's a picture of them and they're categorized in different groups based on how big their group is, with the number of people in their group, and either a red arrow going down or a green arrow going up based on what it was the previous
trend,
month.
yeah.
So it's like I look at it every day.
I love that because you also get to look at their faces. So there's this, it's a visual too,
Yeah.
just as much as it is numbers, right? They're
100%.
people.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I know the reality is, by the way, out of those 2,700 people, there's like 5 that really care about recruiting. Like it's not a big number.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, EXP, by the way, is highest producing independent brokerage in the country, has been for years now. But we still have the reputation of like that's the one that recruits. So I'm like, every brokerage recruits or they're
everybody
out of
does.
business.
Well, and I mean, how many brokerages have tried to, I don't want to say copy, but mimic?
100%. And
100%.
if you go look at their per person productivity, even though they're significantly smaller than us as a company, it's way lower.
It's less.
Right. So we actually have this culture of production in our company and inside of our group. And then some of us care about building income outside of selling more real estate. And
Yeah.
the last person I texted before I saw you was one of those people and we're strategizing with something. I was like, hey, I need to show you this thing. It's going to help you in your next phase.
I love it.
Of how you go from whatever, I think is it like 250 agents to 500
That's
agents.
a lot too.
Yeah, it is. Like
Yeah.
if I told you the income from that's like just on the side of his real estate business, like you'd be blown away.
We need to side hustle this.
Do you, out of those 2,700, I know you said there's like 5 people that kind of focus on it. When you say focus on it, does that mean they're not sitting in living rooms?
They're all sitting in living rooms to an extent.
Okay.
Some of them more so than others, but those are just the ones that like they've put real time and effort into it.
Okay.
And it's compounded now for a while for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still actively
Yeah.
buying and selling real estate for
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
That's great.
The reality is you could go build a decent rev share group with like 5 committed hours a week. If you
Yeah.
would just give it 5 hours a week,
The 4-hour work week.
that's all you have to do to be able to make an impact there.
Yeah.
But people don't do it. It's funny.
It's an hour a day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's not that big of an ask.
We talked to our sales team about an hour a day for prospecting. It would,
Yeah.
would change
It's
your
the same-
life.
It would
It's the
change your
exact
life.
same
Yeah,
thing.
literally. It would also change your life on your sales business
Yeah.
or fill in the blank with whatever business you're
right.
in. But the reality is if you just focus on it, give it a little bit of focused attention, you can grow something really big.
Totally. I mean, what you guys have done has just been, I think, it's so cool. I admire you so much. Your business savvy, your approachability, you're like, you're just low key. You're like, hey, however you want to help somebody, all the things except for, the baseball part.
Except for
But talk a little bit too about you and Fred have done some cool things with like next level agents. You have a podcast, like different ways that you're reaching the agent community and educating them. And they're open. They're not like only EXP people. You've got such a cross collection of people from all over.
I was explaining I was at an event yesterday and the person who's hosting it put me on the spot. He talked about this thing we have, this book club thing. It's kind of like a touch program for my sphere of real estate agents, right? And he talked about like how we literally do things, like we just want to give back to the agent community. Cause I think back to Jeff Lucas and Russell and Wendy Shaw and Steve Chater and Curtis Johnson and Tim Cusick and all those guys like taking us under their wing when I hadn't even had a license for a year. Or maybe it was exactly a year at the time when I met them all. And I know how much of an impact that had on me. So I've always wanted to be able to help other agents the same way I was helped. And whether they come to EXP or not, I want them all to. And my belief, I have a belief that they're all coming. Eventually, they're all coming. And if they don't, that's okay. We're still like, I always say I don't hang out with a-holes. Like I'm just not, I won't recruit you if I don't like you. I won't include you if I don't like you. And so all of these people are people I want to be around anyways. And so why wouldn't I just give to you? I hope that maybe one day you come over to EXP. Yeah. And if you don't, because you love your brokerage that you're currently at or whatever, that's cool too. As long as we like each other, there's some synergy and it's a win-win relationship. Like that's all I'm really looking for.
Yeah, I love that. But you also host events and also a podcast.
Yes.
And the book club, right? So I love that. It's super generous of you that you do that for folks. But like, talk a little bit about how you came up with Next Level Agent.
So the Facebook group, that's kind of where Next Level Agents came from. It started out as just a Facebook group. And it was because I did not like the Facebook groups for real estate agents that were in existence.
Like Arizona Realtors Facebook group?
Oh, that was awful.
Don't you kind of grab some popcorn sometime? And just,
No, I can't. I couldn't deal with it.
Now I'm going to send you some
I
screenshots.
say David likes to do the screenshots, and I die.
I can't do it.
I die.
And so I decided to start one, and I literally texted Fred, and we had another friend in Portland, and I just said, hey, by the way, the 3 of us own a Facebook group now, and let's just start putting great content in there. And we're all 3 of us obviously pretty well connected with other big real estate agents, and great business people. I was like, let's just all contribute. And so that became a thing that led to like more events, bigger in-person events. And then ultimately, as we started building this community within EXP, we were kind of like, this thing needs a name. because it's a thing. It's not Kevin and Fred. It's
Right.
it's not just Kevin and Fred's friends. It's a community. And so we just transitioned that name to, so now there's like Next Level Agents, which is truly still is a Facebook group. It's the name of my podcast. And then we've got like Next Level Agents at EXP. And all of that means is the EXP agents in our world at EXP.
Yeah.
And so it's just a community of real estate agents that are all trying to help each other.
I mean, I like pointing that out because it's a reflection of who you are in general about wanting to give back and creating a space for people to come and learn, get information, network, get to know others, and, you know, find a good direction in the real estate space, especially when we talk about some of these other Facebook pages, right? Like, or,
Man,
you know, and also the events that you can go to as a real estate agent. Sometimes you're making investments into things and you're like, I just spent thousands of dollars on something and didn't come away with, you know, but I've been to your events and they're, you know, very fair in terms of costs, and you guys create a well-rounded curriculum, I guess, or agenda, because you've had people speaking about health, like taking care of yourself. You've had people that come in and have their niches and stuff like that. So I love what you've done. It's really been, it's kind of fun to get to be like, you know, a spectator in your success.
I try to introduce people to thinking about things that maybe they're not currently thinking about, right?
Yeah.
So, like as an example, it's been a couple of years, and I don't know that I do know that we will never do another big live event again. There's so much work.
There's so much work.
But as an example, a few of the speakers there, we had a speaker there that was solely about money. We had a speaker there that's his name's Michael Burnoff. He's like Tony Robbins. Like
Yeah.
Michael's a really very close friend of mine.
Is he the average sucks guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he's an amazing speaker. I had my personal coach there. Her name is Camille Rose Taylor. I had my chiropractor there, who's like one of my health mentors as
Love
well,
that guy.
Dr.
I started
John.
seeing him after that.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Right? And
Shout out to Dr.
I just
John.
try to bring people these things that I think, truthfully, they impact your business.
Yeah,
like
they really do.
Sometimes we don't see the connection because we get so sort of tunnel visioned on what's going on. But like, if you feel better and more complete as the human being, like one of my friends and kind of one of my mentors as well is a friend named Joe Polish. He literally owns the building next door to mine. Like we park next to each other every day. He's got a company that's for entrepreneurs, regardless of industry, and he always talks about building a better entrepreneur. And I just really resonate with that theme of building a better entrepreneur. And I think in a way that's effectively what I'm trying to do. And I'm going, hey, what hits with me and like what seems to like really have legs, and then I'll share that with other people.
I love that. Yeah. And you do.
Yeah.
You do. I've seen you in action, and just our coffee talk, always some great nuggets. So it's awesome. What would be like, you know, for the time that you've been in the business, like what's your piece of advice? What's your piece of advice to an agent right now, whether they're running a team, whether it's a single agent, like what do you see? What's your advice?
I think part of it depends on where they're at,
Okay.
and of course what they want. Like I always go, like I just recorded a podcast about this because a friend in my group texted me a few months ago, and he said, "Hey, I noticed this thing with you. I noticed that when someone asks you for advice, you always then ask them a few questions rather than giving them just the answer of how to do the thing that they asked about." He's like, and I really like that. I'm trying to learn to do that more, and I just do that. Like it's sort of naturally, partially
Yeah.
because
You're curious
I'm
too.
curious
Yeah.
about it, but also like I always think of it like you don't want to run up the wrong mountain. If you're going to run up a mountain, make sure it's the right one.
It's a good way to do it.
And so part of it is I want to know why they want to do something, and then what it is that they want to do. But the one thing I guess that would be like blanket advice for everyone is like get around other people that are doing it. And it's easy to go, I want to be around so and so because they've already done it, right? But the reality is you need mentors that are closer to where you're at on your journey. So as an example,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
don't get me wrong, I can help a new agent that got
Right.
licensed yesterday. I could give them a few things to do. However, I'm significantly more qualified to help somebody that's already got a team and wants to learn how to grow it, or they want to learn how to go to their next phase because they're closer to where I'm at on
the
my
journey.
race. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so if I'm a brand new agent, as an example, I want to find someone that has been in the business 2 or 3 years and is tracking for where I want to be. And if I'm that person that's 2 or 3 years in and crushing it, maybe doing 50, 60 units a year, and I want to have a team, then I'm looking for someone that's probably started a team within the last 5 years. And I want to be around a group of people like that.
That's awesome.
That makes 100% sense.
Yeah. I mean,
Let me be more valuable in what I can offer you based on where you're at in your career.
Yeah.
kind of proximity to your goal.
Yeah. That proximity is power, that Tony Robbins quote, I believe in that big time. And so I think we got to have those like
Milestones.
independent people, like one-on-one, like, hey, I can go to Bernie if I need something, but also like I need a bigger eclectic group, which is how I view like our group within EXP, which is I have people that are running massive, what I'd call a solo agent business team. And I have people running massive teams with 100 people or more, and they're doing 1,000 transactions a year.
Yeah.
And we can all learn from each other. However, the guy running, or the guy or the girl running the 100-person team isn't necessarily the most qualified to help the person doing 25 deals a year.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Absolutely. That's great advice.
But you can
love
learn
that.
the thought process from those
For
people.
sure. For sure. Absolutely.
Well, and it's being honest with the person asking for help too, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I can help you, but you know who's going to be able to help you more?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who's at year 3, if you're brand new, and they're on that, that upward trend,
Right.
Yeah.
they're going to have more real time how it's working for them right now.
Totally.
Like I've coached a few agents in the past, like formally coached, and truthfully, the ones that I succeeded with the most, meaning I made the bigger impact, they were the people that were closer to me in like production and in their journey than the one, like there was a couple that were like, they were nowhere near where we were, and they were never going to, I don't want to say never going to get there. They were probably a decade away from us.
Okay.
As opposed to these other people that I made a much bigger impact with, they might have been like a year or two behind us.
Okay.
And I was just sort
get
of
that.
able to
I
help them
actually
see
really get
around
that.
the corner.
Yeah.
Well, it's real time, right?
Yeah.
It's something I can actually, by
feels
experience, I can offer
I
you.
actually just solved this, right?
Yes.
Like I literally
Yeah.
just overcame this 24 months ago myself. I
exactly.
got you.
Yeah.
That's way different than back in my day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that. It's kind of like what to do right now. No pun, we
Yeah,
do that event,
yeah.
but a lot of times we bring in speakers and we want them to talk about what should somebody be doing now, because they can dream of being where you're at some point in time, but we need to be able to kind of like connect with where they're at and what's attainable for the immediate future.
Yes.
Those bite-sized chunks, right? Yeah. This is awesome. I'm so excited that we finally got you, timing wise and everything, but time goes by fast when you're
Yes.
talking to Kevin Kauffman. Kaufman coaching coming soon. No, just kidding. But thank you so much. I'm so
thank
grateful.
you.
I appreciate you, your friendship, your business, your all the stuff. So thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Oh, wait, best way to reach you. And name a podcast and all that.
Name of the podcast is Next Level Agents.
Next Level Agents.
That's it's mostly me. However, there's a couple other hosts now. I mean, that's been going since 2018
I know,
as well.
yeah.
We probably got. I've probably personally done 600 or 700 episodes.
That's so cool.
Nextlevelagents.com.
Okay.
I would say like the socials, but for the last 3 months, like I don't even.
Yeah.
I'm not on.
Well, there you go. Well, that's how we can find you.
So
awesome.
Nextlevelagents.com.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Kevin.
you. All right, you guys. Great episode.
See you
Thanks
later.
for, bye.